from going into their deepest fears and realizing that their deepest fears actually carry their deepest blessings, that the thing that made them unworthy, unlovable, not enough, actually is the thing that makes them the most worthy, lovable, and enough. So by alchemizing this, taking this mud and turning it into this lotus, they then have this new awareness, this being on top of the mountain and seeing the big picture perspective and realizing that it was all divine. And that the soul lessons that their soul needed to experience were part of their life's plan, part of their soul's curriculum to train them to embody their Dharma, their soul's purpose. Welcome to the High Self Podcast. My name is Sahara Rose, and in this episode, I want to talk about something that I feel like I've become an expert of this year, and that is how to have a main character energy. So you hear a lot of people on social media talking about being the main character in your life, but for me, I actually look at this from a spiritual context. So what does it mean to be the main character? To me, the main character is romanticizing your life and seeing your life from a bird's eye perspective. So when I really tuned into this energy, I see your main character being you, your human body, your ego, your personality, the version of you that is listening to this podcast right now. But you're not the only one that's calling the shots here. As we know, there are a lot of elements to the unknown, and we also receive guidance from our intuition. So I see our highest selves as the directors. So our highest selves are directing by giving our main character, the lead actor, little cues, little nudges, little synchronicities and signs of, hey, go in this direction, or learn about this thing, or meet this person, or whatever that thing is, and it's always guiding us towards what's next. So while our highest self is that director, we also have this larger force at play, which is the universe. And I see the universe as the producer. So it's ultimately the one that's calling the big shots. What's the budget? Where is this movie going to take place? And the truth is, our highest self can direct and guide us, but then what's happening collectively, what's happening energetically, what the situations, the karmas that we need to play out in this lifetime are ours. And we can choose to take them either as our demise or as the fertile soil from which we become the main characters that we desire to be. So for me, stepping into my main character energy has been the way that I have taken my divorce and used it as fertile ground to become my own dream girl, the version of me that I am deeply in love with. There are so many aspects of myself that I always wanted to be before. I used to say, I really wish I could be an artist. I wish I could produce music. I wish I could be a poet, a dancer. And it was after my divorce that it actually caused me to quantum leap and become all of these things. I now produced 5 songs. I have a 6-song spoken word poetry album coming out soon. I have been dancing all around the world and really activating my own embodiment expression. I've created my embodiment coach certification at Dharma Coaching Institute. And it's just the beginning of this lifelong activation that has come from me stepping into the main character of my own life. One of the first things I notice about someone is their smile. It says so much about you. And if you want to have a brighter smile, then I highly recommend the ancient Ayurvedic practice of oil pulling. So oil pulling is the practice of essentially swishing around a specific oil in your mouth to reduce toxins. I love Guru Nanda. They're a really trusted name in the wellness space, and they created this Ayurvedic oil pulling mixture that you put in your mouth, swish it around for 5 to 10 minutes, and spit it out for a cleaner, fresher mouth. It's completely natural, free of artificial additives, sweeteners, or preservatives. And it's something you can just mix into your daily routine. I love, like, while I'm getting ready, going around the house, just to swish around the oil, and then I spit it out. Do not spit it in the sink. I highly recommend spitting into a trash can because it can clog your sink from all the toxins that are pulled. So just a little note to you right there before you order it. And your mouth is just going to feel so much cleaner. So head over to gurunanda.com and use coupon code Sahara for 20% off. Again, that's gurunanda.com with coupon code Sahara for 20% off. And you can find that link in the show notes. So if you're in a moment right now that maybe a big life event has happened, maybe you've gone through a breakup or a divorce, or maybe you got fired from your job, or you're just in this period of uncertainty, of in between, of like, I don't know, things just feel off and I'm wondering, what's next? Is this it? Maybe there is just this feeling of anxiety that you're waking up with, or maybe there's an actual conflict, a legal battle, something in your life. I believe all of these are the producer of life, the universe, giving us grounds to create that breakthrough moment. You know, you wouldn't watch a movie if the main character didn't have their breakthrough and their revelation. So we are all moving through the story arc of our lives continuously of, if you watch a movie, it's like the main character is like living their life and everything's fine. And then something happens and it's this hero's journey of then unlearning the things, the limiting beliefs, the conditioning, the patterns that they have been holding on to that have held them back, stepping into the fear, the unknown, all of the things that they never wanted to happen, need to happen for them to realize that they are beyond that and that those things don't define them, but rather by going into them is the only way they can get those activations that their soul is waiting for. And then from going into their deepest fears and realizing that their deepest fears actually carry their deepest blessings, that the thing that made them unworthy, unlovable, not enough, actually is the thing that makes them the most worthy, lovable, and enough. So by alchemizing this, taking this mud and turning it into this lotus, they then have this new awareness, this being on top of the mountain and seeing the big picture perspective and realizing that it was all divine. And that the soul lessons that their soul needed to experience were part of their life's plan, part of their soul's curriculum to train them to embody their Dharma, their soul's purpose. And ultimately, the real relationship we have in our lives is between us and our Dharma, our purpose. And truthfully, our Dharma is always guiding us. It's always giving us those nudges, those breadcrumbs of excitement, of those things that we're curious about, but also our obstacles and our pain and the things that brought us to our needs. And those two aspects, the light and the shadow, are simultaneously healing us. They are awakening us and activating us. It's like the thing we're excited about is like, for example, before starting Dharma Coaching Institute and training soul purpose coaches and writing my book, Discover Your Dharma, which Deepak Chopra wrote the foreword of, and really beginning my spiritual journey before that, even writing about Ayurveda, these things were all things I was Google searching before. Like I would be Google searching spirituality, Google searching the mind-body connection, how to step into your purpose. Those were the kinds of conversations I wanted to have. Those were the friends I wanted to make. Those were the things that I would watch YouTube videos about, listen to podcasts about. So those were the little breadcrumbs that were brewing within myself that I didn't know that I would write a book about living your Dharma. I didn't know I would create a school that trains people about living your Dharma. I just knew I was curious about living my own, about even knowing if I had one. So the curiosity planted the seed, but then I needed to go through the initiation. I needed to be forged by the fire. In the process of alchemy, we only have the bronze through going through the fire first. I needed to go through experiences and challenges with my family of them saying, you want to be an author? That's like being a starving artist. You're never going to make money doing that. Going through this feeling of my parents were immigrants and their lives were about survival. So who am I to take a risk on, trying to write a book when I don't even know if I'm going to make it and I can't put them through this level of fear? Going through all of the conditioning and the limiting beliefs I had of if I'm too spiritual, I'm going to be an outcast. No one will love me. No one will marry me. All of these stories, I needed to go right through them. So while I had that desire, I needed to go through my life's biggest fears: abandonment, being disowned by my dad eventually, feeling like there is no one that understands me, because I needed to learn how to understand myself. And it brought me to this place that I realized that if I had no one to live for, that I'm just going to live for me. And that gave me on the other end the sense of freedom, the sense of liberation, of that this lifetime is about me and God, me and my Dharma, me and my highest self, however you see it. But it's ultimately about you becoming more alive, becoming more activated, becoming more expansive. And then who you are becomes a natural expression of what you create. And that's really what living your Dharma is. It's when who you are and what you do are simultaneous. There's no separation between the two. It's not, I am who I am in my 9-to-5 job, and then I am who I am outside of it, but it's I am being me full time. And that's being your main character. The main character, before the big dharmic cycle might have been like, I'm okay with my life. I live in this little house. I'm in this little cage, and these are my friends, and this is what I do. But then when they experience that dark night of the soul, and for many of us, we've gone through one the past year or two, that was their call forward to a life that was so much greater than one that they could have ever imagined. And that's how the main character is born. The guidance that they're receiving from their director, from their highest self that is saying, we know you are capable of so much more. So we're going to have you go through this really often big, even traumatic, painful experience because we know that you are capable of moving through the other side. In fact, everything you have ever wanted to become can only exist from you going through the other side. The expression you want, the abundance you want, the purpose you want, the relationships you want. All of it is on the other side, but you have to leap out to realize that there is a feather bed underneath it all. And when you move through that hero's journey of trusting your Dharma, even when you have no evidence, that is when the main character comes fully online. And that is when you are co-creating with the director of your highest self and the producer of the universe. And you're on one team and you're riffing on each other. And the producer is like, we're going to put you here in this incredible place that your soul could have never imagined before. And your director is like, hey, we're going to be guiding you. And you just got to sit, trust, meditate, tune in, and we'll give you exactly what answers next. And your main character is like, I'm going to choose what hair I want, what makeup I want, what style I want. And I'm going to make this fully me. So this transformation exists on all levels, on the physical 3D. I know for myself, stepping into my main character energy, I'm like, how do I want to dress? How do I want to show, because the way that we dress is the way that we communicate with other people. So what are my styles? What colors am I drawn to? What textures? And I went through phases. I went through a neon hot pink phase, and now I'm in this kind of like girly, like fairy phase with my mermaid hair. And you go through different stages of it because your soul is getting different initiations that require different frequency shifts. So when you listen to your highest self, you realize what's coming next. So maybe you change the way you dress. Maybe you change your mannerisms. Maybe you change where you live. You change your home. You change how you decorate things. The 3D is all a reflection of what's coming from within. And then you have more of a connection to your highest self, the director. So having your practice of listening, whether it is meditation, breath work, taking walks, dancing, embodiment practices. And then you can trust that the producer, the universe, is always guiding you towards your highest self, towards a vision that is going to expand you more than your limited worldview could have ever imagined. So when you can trust that what is happening, the people showing up in my lives, the scenes that I'm in, maybe my main character self didn't plan it, but the producer of the universe is planning this. So I'm going to be fully here in this experience and say yes. And when you can have that co-creation, that synergy, the magic that exists is unstoppable. The transformation I have had in the past year is one that maybe without having the pain of my divorce could have taken me years or lifetimes to experience. But because I decided to go in and make this into my main character moment, I have become a version of me that I am so deeply in love with. And that is worth the pain 1,000 times over. So my invitation for you and a practice that you can do is imagine your life as a movie set. Imagine the different rooms that you walk in, the different places that your main character hangs out. And now, how does your highest self, this director, how does it want to guide the set? Maybe it wants to create a shift that maybe your main character goes to another country, learns a new language, starts a new life. Or maybe it really goes to work and focuses on your business. Or maybe it shifts things around and feng shuis the house. So how does your highest self, your director, want to call the shots? What does it want your main character to know right now? What is your main character maybe not seeing that's on the other end? And how can you give guidance from your highest self to your main character so it listens? Maybe you really listen to synchronicity in the form of numbers or in things that come up in conversation, hearing things at the right time, listening to a podcast that says exactly what you need to listen. And I invite you to, even after this meditate, to really listen to what is my inner director, highest self guiding me to right now? And then having that trust that the producer of the universe has put you in the exact scene that you need to be in right now, and that it's all perfect and it's all divinely led, and that your breakthrough moment can happen right now. You don't need to wait a year, 5 years, however long to have the life that you want to live. It can happen with a decision that you make in this moment of who you want to be. And when we can choose that, then we don't actually have to wait till life gives us these momentous experiences, but we can choose right now to have that shift. So where is your highest self guiding you? How can you listen? To me, the ultimate way that I have listened is to attune to my Dharma, my soul's purpose, the big reason why I'm here, the way that I want to show up and be of service to the world. So for me in my journey, it started with me wanting to coach people around health because I experienced health challenges. And through health coaching people, it brought me to Ayurvedic coaching people. Ayurveda being the sister science of yoga, the world's oldest health system. So through coaching people one-on-one with Ayurveda, I started group coaching. I started doing online courses. And then from doing the online courses, I actually started shifting more into spirituality because I realized the reason why people weren't eating healthy or doing healthy daily practices were because of deeper disconnections within themselves. So I started what I then called truth coaching, which later became Dharma coaching, connecting people to the big reason why they are here. Because the truth is, we can eat the perfect diet and do the perfect exercise, but if we're not connected to our greater sense of self, we're not truly ever going to be healthy. So from Dharma coaching, I later began creating different systems and methodologies and coaching people to step into their Dharma, their soul's purpose. Later wrote Discover Your Dharma, and then created the Dharma Coaching Institute, which is the world's first and only school that trains Dharma, soul purpose, and spiritual life coaches. So this is my 6-month training program that takes you from maybe feeling a little bit uncertain about your purpose. Maybe you know, I'm here for a bigger reason, but I don't really know what that thing is. So we guide you step by step into first the inner gnosis of who am I? What are my interests? What are my archetypes? What are the ways that source is expressing through me? And then how can I coach other people into understanding their Dharma, their soul's purpose? So it's this beautiful ripple effect of stepping into your Dharma and then being of service to help others. And you can do this either to actually create a new career for yourself as a Dharma, a soul purpose coach, which you can do simultaneously with yoga teacher training, health coaching, life coaching, breathwork training, NLP. We have graduated over 2,000 coaches now. Many of them, over hundreds of them, are full-time coaches, and many of them have tuned these to different methodologies that they're doing, or just for your own enrichment of, I just want to be an incubator of my Dharma, of really stepping into my main character energy, hearing the guidance of my highest self, being around like-minded people to support me, to have the accountability of weekly live calls and coaching practices. And by the way, to do the dozens of hours of one-on-one coaching that you do within the program with your peers. There is no greater way of stepping into your Dharma than being in a container where the focus is that. So we have students who do it for their own enrichment who end up coaching, and we have students who coach who then later on create books, podcasts, do speaking engagements. I've had many of them here on this podcast. So it is such a beautiful portal of transformation, transmutation in our lives. I think the only time we really even ask ourselves what my purpose is maybe like our high school guidance counselor of like, so like what major do you want in college? And it's like, okay, I guess I like talking to people, so maybe I should become a lawyer. Like it's like, you like talking to people, be a lawyer. You like math and science, be a doctor. And it's like, there's a lot more than that. And by the way, if you're the type of person that loves talking to people, but like listening to them and hearing their story, and people naturally open up to you and share their hearts to you, and you feel this connection and you get this guidance of who they are, and you see their fullest potential, and you're so good at mirroring them back, and people come to you for intuitive guidance all the time, then you already have the blueprint of being a Dharma coach. It's just now a matter of going into the forging of, what conversations do I need to have? What agreements do I need? How do I set up boundaries? How do I set up a coaching framework with people? 3 months, 6 months, 1 month? How do I price myself? How do I niche myself? How do I actually create a business for myself as a coach? So we simultaneously teach you everything about coaching, as well as the last 2 months, the business of coaching. So everything you need to actually take your coaching business out into the world so you can have a monetary exchange for it, which, by the way, a lot of spiritual people have guilt around charging. They feel like if I charge, I'm going to be, excommunicated. People are going to think I'm a fraud. And like way back when, the nuns and the monks were taken care of. When I lived in a Thai village, every day I would make food and bring it to the monks. They were supported. Whereas today we don't have that anymore. As spiritual people, we can't pay our rent with, banana leaves. So we need to be able to provide for ourselves. And when we're able to create money doing what we love, we're actually able to do it full time. And that's what we need. We need to be able to make our life's work the thing that actually is of service to the world. Not we do this thing for money that we hate doing that's not of service. So then the few hours of our week that we have off, which by the way, you're probably just exhausted and recovering. But if you do have a few hours of maybe creative, expansive time, you can maybe do something that you love. But for most people, they don't even do that. They lose sight of themselves. So this is why I'm so passionate, especially for women, to be able to make a business for yourself doing what you love. Because that way your work requirements are your personal growth. The books you read, the podcasts you listen to, the trainings that you do, the certifications that you do, the life lessons that you learn. I'm so grateful for my health challenges, for my family obstacles, for my divorce, because it has given me the training that I need to be a better coach and speaker and thought leader for you. And that is the beauty of being on this path of a Dharma coach, of all of the life experiences you go through are not just for you, but they're so you can be of service to humanity. And then when you're going through those shitty times, it doesn't feel as like heavy and daunting, but you just know, oh, okay, this is where life is guiding me right now. This is the soul curriculum that I have signed up for. These are the lessons that obviously I need, that one day I will be on the other side of and share with other people. And I would always tell myself, when I'm in these experiences of I'm just in the shitty part of my memoir. That was always the thing, like, to get me through. If I'm just in the part of the memoir where nothing's working out and I'm losing faith and I don't know what's going to happen next. And that's just the part I'm in. But everyone needs that part. The main character needs the shitty part to have that transmutation change, to get those codes that you need, to be that shiny version of you on the other side. So if you're in that part right now, or maybe you're just in the boring part of the memoir, you're in the routine, the mundane, and you're here for something so much greater. And like when you listen to this, there's a part of your soul that's just saying, yes, yes, yes. But maybe there's a part of your mind that's like, oh no, it's too late. Oh no, you could never. Oh no, you're too old. You're too corporate. You're too whatever the story is. That right there, that story that you have of why you can't live your Dharma, is the thing that you will coach other people on. Is the thing that one day you will be speaking on a stage saying, I used to think I could never live my purpose because I was too old, because I wasn't special, because I had a learning disability, because whatever the story is for you. That very thing that you overcame within yourself will become the thing that you share with other people. So why not start that journey now? Start becoming on the other side by deciding right now is your main character moment that everything freaking changes. And you find yourself and you decide to go into the unknown and become part of a community that you didn't even know existed. And who knows where you will be 6 months from now. Well, I can tell you if you join DCI, you'll be a certified Dharma and soul purpose coach, and who knows what is to come next. So doors are open right now. You can learn more at dharmacoachinginstitute.com. That's Dharma, DHARMA, coachinginstitute.com. You can find all of those links below. Doors are open right now. And if you're listening to this later, you can join our waitlist for our next cohort. We are so excited to invite you inside. We have a series of free masterclasses you can experience. You can check out our curriculum, get your questions answered on a one-on-one discovery call, and so much more. So head over to the website, you'll get everything you need. And I'm so excited to invite you inside. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.